Okay, so I'm not going to be telling you anything new. I'm going to tell you an old story.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a little bit of background about Amal Bhakta Prabhu. Raise your hand if you have heard his tapes. You've heard his tapes? He reads, like he's done all of Srila Prabhupada's books, most of Srila Prabhupada's books on tapes, and he does specifically a lot of tapes for children, like the Children's Krishna book. If you had, maybe we'll bring you some of the tapes next time. So we're really fortunate to have him here in person. I know my kids have been listening to these tapes since they were really young, Amal Bhakta Prabhu. So we're really fortunate to have him in person. Now he said he hasn't, and he's able to do all kinds of different voices. He knows how to do Krishna's voice as a little child, and a demon's voice, but he said he hasn't done it in a really long time, for like 10, 15 years.
No, it's like 23 or 24 years.
Oh, 23 or 24 years, he hasn't done that, but he used to do, and when I was little, I was about 9 years old, he had his studio behind our house in Los Angeles.
Yes, I remember your father.
And it was a humongous board, a sound board, where he would put in all the different sounds and all the background music and up and down, and that's when he made his tapes. And so we're really lucky to have him here. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much. You know, the light is a little better here.
Here, we can
won't
move the
have
chair
to
if you'd like.
It won't be necessary. I actually like standing.
Okay.
Because let me see. Yeah, this would be fun. I'll tell you, can I move you a little bit? I might want to, let me move it this way. I might want to try to take more advantage of this light.
Does this light
Oh yeah,
turn
this is much better. Let's just see.
on? Sure, does this light turn on?
Oh, can we turn this on too? The more light I have, yeah, that's even better.
Would it be all right for you to sit right here?
No,
Would that be
I'll
enough?
chant. I'll stand.
All right.
Because I'm going to be doing some of the actions of the bull and Krishna and so much. At least I'm going to try. So, okay, this is called the Aristasura demon.
Okay, well, you want to stand on this mat?
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to put it up, that's okay.
All right, it's
I mean,
really cool.
I'm
It's really cool.
courtesy and respect, I'll definitely accept it. So this is the Aristasura demon. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lives everywhere. But most of all, he likes to live in the little village of what? Where?
Vrindavan.
Yes, Vrindavan, India, with his loving devotees. In Vrindavan, his devotees always sing about the wonderful things he what? He does, yes. He's got it memorized. That's no fair. Sometimes demons come in Vrindavan just to disturb the devotees there. Once upon a time, there was a huge demon bull named Aristasura. The demon was as big and strong as a mountain. He was so big that there was a huge dark cloud floating right over him. He had big sharp horns, like that. Big sharp horns. I can't find my place now. And he roared loudly. Let me hear the roar. Scared me. My knees are shaking. Look at that. You guys are really full of power. Aristasura looked very, very angry. And as he walked into Vrindavan, the ground rumbled and shook. Little water, please. The animals and cows were so afraid. They all ran as fast as they could to get away from him. Everyone in Vrindavan sorry, a little cold. Everyone in Vrindavan began to cry, Krishna! Krishna! Now suppose you were there, what would you say?
Help, Krishna.
No, well, let me hear you. You're supposed to... Yes, when you get in trouble, what are you going to say?
Everybody say Krishna! All together!
No fighting back.
Trust yourself.
Yes. So when you're in trouble, when you need help, when you need guidance, when you need protection, Krishna will give it to you if you call upon him. Little Prahlad was always calling upon him. You know the story of Prahlad? You all know that? Little 5-year-old boy? Well, his father tried to kill him in so many ways. The first way that he did is they took this big, what do you call it, trident, and he poked him. Couldn't do it. No success. Then they threw him off a mountain. And little Prahlad was just saying, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And the mountain just caught him like a pillow. So he didn't break his bones. And then they threw him under the hoofs of big elephants. Boom, boom. Nobody could crush him. They threw him into the ocean. They couldn't drown him. They gave him poison. They couldn't poison him. They subjected him to cold. No, not yet. Hold your whatever. They subjected him to cold. And he didn't get frozen. They subjected him to heat, and he didn't get hot. They tried every which way to kill Prahlad. They couldn't do it, and why couldn't they do it? Because Krishna was doing what?
Protecting
Exactly, he was protected. And that's why I'm all teaching you right now, and your teachers are teaching you, whenever you have a problem, you cry out, Krishna! And then your mommy will come racing up to you as Krishna's servant to help you. Okay? Is that all right? Now we go to the next page. Yes, because Krishna is in your heart, and just as he protected Prahlad, he will protect you. And you should remember this not only now, but throughout your life. Krishna smiled and told his cowherd boyfriends, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. He stood there with his hand on the shoulder of a friend. Smiling, Krishna stood right in front of Aristasura. He said, if you have come to see me, then I will fight with you. The angry bull looked straight at Krishna and galloped toward him, digging up the earth with his hooves. Aristasura lifted his tail high in the air. Dark clouds were floating around his tail. His angry eyes were red and moving back and forth like this. Pointing his horns at Krishna, he ran as fast as the thunderbolt of Indra. Krishna caught his horns and threw him far away. Although the angry demon was sweating and very tired, he got right up again. He wasn't going to be pounced or defeated by Krishna, not him. He rushed toward Krishna as fast as he could. He was breathing very hard. Krishna caught his horns and threw him hard onto the ground again. Aristasura came crashing down so hard, his horns broke off. Krishna jumped up and down on him as if he were squeezing out a wet cloth on the ground. Aristasura, he rolled over and violently waved his legs here and there, bleeding, passing stool and urine. His eyes popped out of his head. From the sky, the demigods showered flowers on wonderful Krishna. They were very happy to see the demon dead. The people of Vrindavan loved Krishna very, very much, and were also very happy to see how he killed the horrible demon named Aristasura. And so ends the story of the death of the demon Aristasura.
That was intense.
You want to hear another one? Okay, let's look up the table of contents and see which story we're going to take. Oh, here's a nice. How about this? The only one page. Is it all? Look. This is page 14. And this is page. Oh yeah, 16. Is that would that be enough? You sure? Where you at?
There was also the Kesi videos. I don't know
You want
if you're
to
able to do those
Well, let's
voices.
just- oh,
In
yeah.
your tape, you do those the voices. of
Okay, we'll do
Krishna.
those. I'm getting in the mood now.
I've actually seen Lily popping her eyes out of your head, which looks
I just
really
feel like
good.
one of these things.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay. Is it right here? Oh, it's short. Good. Okay, we're going to. Now, one of the boys here had his hand up. You had your hand up. Did you want to say something? No? Okay. So this story is called Killing the Kesi Demon and Vyomasura. So we'll do the whole story, right? Okay. On the order of King Kamsa. Now, who is King Kamsa? Okay. Who is King Kamsa?
The one that wants to kill Krishna.
Yes. What was his position in the world? Was he a prince? Was he a janitor? Was he a trash collector? What was Kamsa's position?
He was a king.
All right, he was a king. Thank you so much. What is your name?
Nani.
Nani.
Nani. Okay, Nani. We give you an A for today for answering that question. Okay, on the order of King Kamsa, the terrible horse demon named Kesi went to Vrindavan, his long mane flowing wild in the wind. His hoofs dug up the ground. He whinnied so loudly and ferociously that everyone ran away. Do we have any persons, any devotees here who know how to whinny? Like a horse? Very good. We got a bunch of good little horses here. Ponies. Okay. Krishna looked at the horse demon. His big tail wheeled around and around in the sky like a big cloud. Lord Krishna stood in front of the Kesi demon and dared him to fight. The horse made a horrible sound like a roaring lion. He rushed toward Krishna and tried to kick him, but Krishna was too fast for the galloping demon and moved around him a few times. Quickly, Krishna caught Kesi's legs and threw him 100 yards away. Does everybody know what 100 yards looks like?
No.
Did anyone ever see a football field on the TV? How many of us? Okay, that's what 100 yards is. It's the size of a football field. So that's a big throw. Any football player who could throw 100 yards would be considered a foremost and they'll probably get the most valuable player award. So we move along. Quickly, Krishna caught Kesi's legs and threw him 100 yards away. The angry horse demon got up and rushed toward Krishna again, this time with his mouth wide open. Just as Kesi came close enough to crush him, Krishna pushed his left hand into the demon's open mouth. Then Krishna's hand began to grow hotter and hotter and hotter and bigger inside Kesi's mouth. So Kesi demon, he squealed in pain. A hand in his mouth. Can't breathe. He coughed and he choked until he couldn't breathe anymore. He threw his four big legs in all directions. At last, his eyeballs, what happened to his eyeballs? Yes, they popped out of his head, and he passed stool and urine while breathing his last breath. Generally, they do that when they're frightened, they're petrified, so that's what happens. When the horse lay down, dead and still, his mouth became loose like this. Like that. Krishna easily pulled out his hand. All the demigods watching the wonderful fight showered flowers from the sky. How wonderful it was that Krishna had killed the demon. So now we're coming on to the last part. Should I go to this part here? Or should we end it there?
Maybe we should end it so
You
we
wanna
can
end
get
it
a
now?
picture with you. Maybe we can end it so we can get a group picture with you. Like the
Okay.
students have any
So that's going to
pictures.
be the end of the story. And thank you all for listening. It was my pleasure to share this with you. And I hope you'll all listen to the children's Krishna book, so that one little girl, she was only 6 years old, and in fact I stayed at their place just 2 weeks ago. She's now 14. when she was just 6, she used to listen to it day and night. She wouldn't put it off. She went to sleep listening to it. She would get up listening to it. She went to school. They made her turn it off in the classroom. But whenever she got a chance, she would listen to the children's Krishna book. So I had a big table for the Prabhupada festival. So the table was out, and her parents had a table next to mine. So her parents said, our daughter remembers many of the pastimes that you narrated on the children's Krishna. I said, well, how much did she memorize? They said, she's memorized the entire book. Intentionally? No, just by listening. Over and over and over, she could recite it word for word. I didn't believe it at first, because Shukdev Goswami could do it. You see, Vyasadeva could do it. But a little 5-year-old girl? No. So anyway, I challenged her. I said, okay, I want to hear you narrate the story of Kaliya. She said, where do you want to hear it from? The beginning, the middle, or the end? I said, you know it from that much, that way? She says, yes. I said, oh, let's start from the beginning. That's usually where you start from reading a book. So she started from the beginning, and she had it word for word, and I sat there entranced. But she looked like a little demigoddess. I mean, she was all made up with the little jewel that they have over here, and the hair, and the bangles, and the gorgeous sari she had on. And she was so restrained and so chaste and so sweet-voiced. And she said it in such a beautiful way that I was totally captivated. After 10 minutes, I said, I believe you. Please continue. And you are definitely a devotee of Krishna and will be forever, because he's inside you, and I don't think he's ever going to come out. So great is your love to listen to him. And it's a fact. She plays mridanga now. She plays the harmonium. She even gives classes at the San Jose. She just started. She's only 14. She's giving classes. She's highly learned, but she's very, very, how can I put it? She's modest. She doesn't let herself fully out. I'm encouraging her. Please if you want to tell the story dramatically, please do so, and you can revert back to your very chaste, modest manner after you tell the story. But in order to get people interested, you need to let it out with all the sound and fury that's possible. So again, I thank you all, and next time I'm coming, I expect you each to at least know one story by memory. And that's not much. It's just one page here. Okay? How many are going to get one, at least, I don't care which story it is, but I want one story memorized. How many are going to do that? Can we allow that? Am I asking for too much? You'll get it memorized? Everybody you'll have it memorized? Who else? It looks like most of the looks like the guys in the back don't want to do any memorizing. Oh, you. Balaram Prasad's son. Of course he has a great... And I should mention, okay, kids, this girl gets a straight A average in her class. She's the top student, too. So it works in a practical way as well as in just a spiritual way. So you will not be losing anything. It will make you even better students, because you will get the grace of Krishna since you're absorbed in Krishna. Okay? All glories to Lord Shri Krishna ki. Jai! All glories to Shri Krishna ki. Jai! All glories to Shri Krishna ki. Jai! Shri Mati Radharani ki. Jai! Radharani ki. Jai! Okay, you all get 100% for that.
Can we say thank you to Amal Bhakta Prabhu?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I offer my respects to all.
Let's do Vanchakalpa, please. Vanchakalpa.